Count is on in what's been called the most historic election ever in the United States. Democrat candidate Joe Biden looks to be in the lead, just slightly. Americans took to the polls yesterday to choose between incumbent Donald Trump or Biden. We're joined now by Rachel Silverman in California. Rachel, how's it playing out there? What are you seeing?
The headline is that it will not be a Biden blowout. People hoping for that are now biting their nails, calling their friends, saying, is it true? Could it happen one more time? President Trump back and forth, slightly ahead in the popular vote, with several important battleground states either too early or too close to call. But as far as those polls went, and where there was expectation and some hope by Democrats and other people who supported Joe Biden, it looks like there will not be a blowout for the Democratic candidate.
And have you been able to ascertain more about who is voting and why? Because it really seems to be, you know, in the past, is it a black or a white issue? Is it does education come into play here? In terms of how the votes were counted and how they are being counted, that has a lot to do with what the totals are right now. And in some states, those mail-in ballots are counted first. The mail-in ballots in many places are mainly Democratic. In other states, the day of voting in the polling stations are counted first. And the perceived wisdom is that more Republicans voted on the day of. There was quite a big turnout amongst the young people, amongst the college kids. It's really too early to tell until we can really analyze those exit polls and learn a little bit more about which people voted. Was President Trump able to get the black men to vote for him? Did the suburban women, white women, vote for him as everyone expected? Did the Latino vote go against Joe Biden? I mean, those are all questions we're going to be answering into the wee hours in the morning and probably for the next several weeks, maybe several months. But one thing to bear in mind is that many of the votes will not be counted until about 5 o'clock in the morning our time, which is several hours from now. So this could go up and down. I think the headline, though, is that it's not going to be that landslide that some people had predicted it might be for Joe Biden. All right. So thank you for that, Rachel. I'm just wondering if the Madame Tussauds in Germany, they had removed Donald Trump, if they're going to have to be bringing him back again. Hope they didn't melt that wax. Now, the whole world is watching the U.S. elections unfold. The big question, can President Donald Trump defy the polls for the second time? Let's get some analysis with Professor Anthoni from Nieuwkerk from the Wits School of Governance. A very good morning to you. It is one of the biggest turnouts that we have seen in the last century. How important is that when it comes to determining the next president?
Sure. It's an unprecedented election, and the turnout reflects that. Everybody who's able to vote has gone to vote. And in fact, Jane, America is so large, you know, with the time zone differences that Arizona and other key swing states, their polls are about to close and counting is about to start. So overall, I guess we can say that about 40% of voters' votes have been counted. And so it's early days to make any firm prediction. But what we can see from the media that comes from America is that the race is neck and neck.
I mean, the numbers that we've just been given now, Biden at 209, Trump at 112. I mean, let's focus a little bit on some of the important states like Florida. I mean, it's looking that Trump is going to get his way here. I mean, how important is it when you look at who is voting there? He's really split the Latino vote down the middle, and it's important in the sense that it gets 29 electoral college votes. But what does it say about what's happening in the states there at the moment?
Yeah. No, you're quite right. Florida is a big win. I think we know that if you win a state it's winner takes all, and all of those electoral votes go your way. So Florida, 29 to make up the 270 that you need to win. That's a big count, and I'm surprised. In many of the swing states, with not all the votes counted at all, but early indications show that Trump is doing quite well. Also in Florida, he's splitting the vote. And need I remind ourselves that 4 or 5 years ago in 2016, 2015, we were saying the same thing. It's not possible for Trump to win. Hillary Clinton is the preferred candidate. It looks as if Trump has mobilized his supporters in the key swing states to come to the table late, and therefore he seems to be ahead. But let me point out that the unique feature of this election is the early vote and the mail-in vote, as they call it. So people mailed in their choices, and the counting still has to take place. And it's very possible, if we have this conversation again a couple of hours from now, that the Biden support will rise as the numbers sort of continue to come in. I think apart from Florida, the real important 4 key states that will determine the outcome of the election is Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. If we keep our eye on those 4 important large states with key numbers, then we will be able to say which way it will go.
And it seems like it's going to go right down to the wire, doesn't it? I mean, I'm quoting something off the Al Jazeera website. Somebody is saying that regardless of what happens, Trumpism will remain definitive and integral to the very DNA of these fictitiously United States of America. His presidency is cut through the moral and political fault line. So you just wonder what sort of change, whoever comes in, will elicit going forward.
I must agree with that statement. You know, even regardless of who wins the election, if Biden wins, he will have to deal with a large group of disgruntled, angry, and aggressive Trump supporters. And in fact, we know also that there's the possibility of the outcome not clear for a couple of days, if not weeks, and the possibility of some violence. So if Biden wins, how do you deal with that divided nation? It's even worse. You know, if Trump wins, what does he do with a large group of supporters who doesn't want to see him, who finds him very distasteful? And so, regardless of the winner, it's a nation divided, and it'll impact on the domestic politics of America, but also the international relations of this very important international player.
I mean, with his focus, Donald Trump's focus off Africa, for example, we've seen the rise of the strongman in so many countries, and the fact that many of them, I mean, we're even looking at Kenya, where there's a possible discussion about extending the stay of power of the leader there.
Yeah, indeed. It's not only Kenya. Think of Tanzania,
Yep.
When Magufuli won and promptly arrested the opposition leader. So the age of the big man politics not over. Trump is maybe an example for many. So authoritarian leaders arise when the world is in turmoil, which it is at the moment because of this relentless COVID onslaught. And so people look for strong leaders to tell them, whether it's true or not, that we're going to turn the corner, we're going to win the fight, just stay with me. And I think Trump is an inspiration for many of these ultra-nationalist, right-wing, if you want, leaders in Europe, but also in pockets of Africa. And I must say, on balance, you know, in terms of the stability of the international order, a Trump win is not what we need at the moment.
Let's leave it there. Anthony, thank you very much for that.